Hey there, friends! If you're coming over from my Instagram family or my Facebook family, welcome to my YouTube channel. This morning I talked about deep health on my Instagram story and on my Facebook story. So today, here for my first YouTube video, I'm going to talk about something that helps me with deep health. So in deep health, do things that, fill you with joy, and some things that nurture your existential health and your emotional well-being, your emotional health. And one of those things that I do to help me is plants. I love plants. I've done a couple of plant tours on a few of my Instagram stories, and so right now I'm going to show you a couple of the plants that I have in my house. House plants are a new kind of, I've tried a couple of times and haven't ever really been very successful. So being here, stay at home quarantine, has kind of given me a chance to kind of explore the houseplant game a little bit, and I'm really loving it. Succulents are really big right now. I actually got one as a random act of kindness present from someone after I kind of like did a story about my succulents. So I'm gonna flip the camera. Okay. So let's go on a little tour of Ashley's houseplants. So some of you may have seen this one on my story before. This is my Burrows tail. I bought him last summer. He used to be outside. He was just a tiny little guy to start off with. This longest tendril here, used to be up here. So he used to be very short. It didn't have these little ones in the top. I kept him alive all last summer outside, and then I brought him inside for the winter, and for the winter he grew a lot in this front window. This is a western, rises in the east, sets in the west, western facing window, southwestern facing window. So they get a lot of good late afternoon sun here. He will probably go back outside in the back for the summertime. So this is my furry kitten or fuzzy kitten. This is also considered a succulent, I believe. You can see down in there. This used to be just mounded up barely over the top of this pot. I potted him in there. He was part of a mixed pot of flowers out in the back last summer. He was really tiny. This was in like a little 3-inch pot. Like, he was very small. This plant was very dark colored when it first started out. It has greened up a lot, so it did that over the summer. I think it has to do with the amount of light that it's gotten. You can see his growing habit is a little different on this side. So he seems to be more kind of trailing on this side, and then he's a little more condensed on this side. I think that's just because that side has gotten longer. I've tried to rotate that plant. You see, this was like makeshift, just trying to get them through the winter here. So what I would like to do is really kind of get this area here to a point where there's some kind of floating shelves, some kind of something over there, so that I can actually overwinter plants in this window, because it seems to work very well. So this was the first winter that I overwintered like succulents and stuff like that inside the house successfully. So let's hope that continues. This guy here is really kind of struggling. He has been kind of in and out of, I don't even know what this is called. If anybody knows what this is called, drop it in the comments for me. But this one is, I don't even know what to do with him. He's been in all kinds of lighting conditions. He's been in all kinds of water conditions. He may be overwatered. So I'm trying to save this one. He's not doing the greatest, but we're going to try to make it work. All right, so these are the 3 that are in the front window. They actually, I kind of rotate them around, move them around in this window. Now we're gonna go look at some of the other plants in the other rooms. Here we have in my bedroom, this is a southern facing window here. This is not where this guy usually lives. This guy usually lives in the front window with the other plants. He overwintered there. He was very small. When I first got him, these were not this long. He was kind of mounted up in the top of that pot there, that hanging basket there. This is a goldfish plant, so this will flower. It will get little flowers that actually look like little goldfish. This is actually a succulent. It doesn't necessarily look like a succulent. This pot is very, very dry. It likes to be dry. When you water this heavily and keep it watered all the time, it gets very sad and very upset. This one has a lot of new growth on it. The new growth tends to be less woody and very green, and then as it gets older, it turns into this kind of woody stem. So when I do a plant update tour and that guy has some goldfish on him, I will give you an update on the goldfish on this plant. Here we have a couple more of the succulents that live inside the house. So these have been here for quite some time. I have had this plant here. This is a succulent that belonged to Grandma, and it used to be very tall. It was about up here. It was very woody stemmed. And it was actually in this pot. I have not repotted this. Grandma had this plant on her windowsill for a very long time under her skylight. And when Josh and I inherited it after she passed away, we did not know how to take care of it. And Josh was watering it almost, I don't know, he'd either water it every day and soak it, and then he'd ignore it for a little while because he didn't know what to do with it and he thought it was too wet. So I finally figured out how to take care of that and what it likes. So now all the woody stems that were dying and all the leaves that were dying are gone, and now it's doing very well. I don't know if it flowers, what the flowers look like. I would expect that it would flower at some point in time. So I'm gonna keep taking care of that one. This is a northwestern facing window, nice big window. So I've had a couple of plants in this window on that stand for a while. I'm going to end up putting more stuff on that stand. Dogs in the background. That's Roxy. This little succulent here, I got in a present. This was the Random Act of Kindness succulent that I received. I had never really had very much luck with these guys, but this one is doing very well so far. I think the key is not to water the crap out of him. So I'm going to really try to keep that guy. And then this, I actually bought at Christmas time. There were two other plants in here. They have since passed on, but this one's doing very well. It has some new growth. This one has not grown. This red tipped one has not grown at all. I know these are dipped, you know, in paint or whatever. That's not actually their color. And then whatever this fuzzy thing is on the side here, it's hard to see. This fuzzy on the side here, this looks like tarantula legs. They seem to be doing pretty well. They're not breaking off or anything. They look pretty good. See, there's one of the plants that didn't make it. Didn't make it. But I actually bought this one here, and it's a pretty good size. I mean, that's the size of my hand. This pot here, I bought for $5 at Lowe's. It was like a Christmas sale, end of the year Christmas sale, and I got this for $5. And so this one's lasted pretty well. It was on my table all Christmas as a centerpiece, and that's one of my favorite ones so far. I've never been able to keep anything like this one alive, so I'm hoping that I've turned a corner, and now I have a houseplant green thumb as well as my outside plant green thumb, which I am very good with outside plants. So I'm hoping to move that to the inside as well. So these plants here have moved around a couple of times. I've also gone through on my story and talked about these. This plant here was a gift. It is some type of evergreen. This is some type of weed that's growing in here. I was just going to let it go and see what happened to it. But this was a gift, Christmas gift. It came with a bunch of Christmas bulbs on it and had some little glitter stick things. And so once Christmas was over, I took everything off of that. And it actually has been living over there. It has been living over there. So now it's living here. It seems to be doing okay here. If anybody knows what the name of this is, drop that in the comments for me. I'd love to know what types of plants they are. I'm good with flowers, but with succulents and houseplants, I don't really know the names of those so much. So you guys want to help me out, you could definitely help me out. This is a Pathos that is actually thriving. He has a bunch of new growth on him. He was not doing very well. I don't think I was watering him enough. He used to be up there on the mantle. Now he's here. He was sitting over in that windowsill. So we're going to see how he does here. This is a north-facing window, but it's a nice big window. I'm going to put some sheer curtains in here. We just redid all of our trim, which also still needs some work. But he's doing very well. As long as I keep him well watered, he decides that he likes to grow. So we're going to keep watering him. And I finally got my hanging baskets. So here we go. This beautiful trailing one I thought would be good for the hummingbirds. We have hummingbirds that visit here. Don't mind my dirty dishes. I've never had one of these before. I think you say that Lophos Compact Rose. So this is going to go out on the back patio where the hummingbird feeders are. And then I also got this big, beautiful fuchsia. I love these so much. They're gorgeous. So this is a trailing fuchsia. This one's called Swing Time. So this one will also be a hanging basket in the back. So these two will hang out back. I'll show you where that is in a little bit. And then these beauties, these are all new. So this is the first time I've ever had an aloe plant. I have no idea how to take care of this. I think you just let it be. This one is really damp soil, so I don't know if it's supposed to stay that way, but he's healthy and strong. So you should, I think if you're a plant lady and you have inside plants, you should have one of these. I remember my mom and grandma having one growing up. I've just never had one before. If you know any of the names for these that I don't know, let me know. So this is another succulent. I've never had one of these before. I have no idea what it's called. I don't know that it doesn't have any kind of name on it. This one seems to be in a lot drier soil like a lot of my other succulents. It actually has a flower on the top here. So if that'll focus there. Can't get that to focus. So that's very pretty little flower there. So succulent's got these two little itty bitty leaves here. And then I've got some begonias. These will go outside in pots. This is a white one. We've got the yellow double, and then, wow, that shows up on camera weird. Doesn't like that color, huh? And then that one, I love begonias. I showed my dragon wing or angel wing begonia the other day. This little guy here, he's going to stay in this pot since he seems happy in here. But they're like little tiny spiky Christmas trees. So this succulent's pretty neat. Never seen one like that before. If you know what this is, please post that in the comments. Let me know. And then here's another succulent that I got. This guy's pretty neat. I'll show you where some of these are going to go. These two, I believe, are going to stay in these little terracotta pots because I kind of like that. And then I believe this is a jade plant. I have also never had one of these. This guy's pretty neat. Lots of cool variegation and texture on his leaves, if those are called leaves. And this was a multi-pack. There's 6 in here. These are pretty neat. These are kind of like a trailing type of succulent. And then this guy here, this big boy, he's pretty neat too. I've also never had one of these. I hope I can take care of all of these. I think my morning routine is going to start to kind of be no electronics and just kind of visiting my plants and making sure everything is well taken care of. This guy is pretty neat. This is almost, a lot of these have like a chicks and hens type growth to them. I have chicks and hens outside in the flower bed, they have grown a lot. All right, so some of these that are in these pots here, and this aloe plant, and this guy here, are gonna go in some new planters that I got. I've changed the color in my house from yellows and reds and oranges and browns to gray and white and like a green and a blue and a dark gray color. So I've kind of gone more towards these white containers. I really like this one. I think this will be neat to hold some different succulents, like a succulent garden. I think it's gonna go right there. And then I got some new placemats. So some of this stuff is kind of all gonna be matching here. Here is a hanging planter. This is gonna be hung up somewhere in the house. Isn't that a cool planter? That's pretty cool. So maybe some of these guys, these succulents here might go in there. When I get them all planted, maybe I'll do some still shots on my Instagram story. Check out my Instagram story. And then this one here, I kind of wanted to pull this blue color in. It kind of is right there. Haven't really finished with my decor yet. So just kind of like getting things here and there that I like, that I think go well in here. Picked up some potting soil. So these are the new plants. Some new planters to go with my plants that I already had. Also this one here, I showed this on my story the other day. I don't know that that planter is gonna stay there. I might put it somewhere else, like actually against the wall, because it's got a flat back on it. So it's actually designed to go against the wall and not hang directly from the ceiling, I don't believe. So I'm gonna change that one. I actually might put that on the side of the cabinet. And then there's my angel wing, dragon wing begonia. It's a hanging basket. I don't think it's gonna get hung up. It's gonna go in a pot. My patio is a mess. I've been sitting out in the sun. So I'll bring you guys out here. So I usually hang things there, that hook that's around there somewhere. There's a hook there. There's my little tiny hummingbird feeder. I used to have two of those. I don't know what happened to the other one. But I've got these raised beds to plant some vegetables and stuff in. I haven't quite gotten those ready yet. Still getting cleaned up back here from the winter time. And then here's a mess here. I gotta clean all that stuff up. And here I usually plant tomatoes and all kinds of things here. So I'll be working outside for a good portion of the day today. Once I get all these things potted up, I'll take some still shots, maybe go through another small plant tour. All right, you guys. So thank you for joining me on my plant tour. I hope you have a wonderful day. May we all have green thumbs. Bye. If you like what you saw here, please like and subscribe. And if you'd like to follow me on Instagram, the link is below in the description.